Afternoon. In today's lecture, we will be seeing the next topic or the next protocol in our syllabus, which will be Go Back and ARQ. In yesterday's class, we have seen a brief description about the simplest protocol and stop and wait protocol. We have seen the drawbacks in yesterday's class, and we have seen a detailed overview or a detailed description of stop and wait ARQ. So stop and wait ARQ, as we have seen, waits for an acknowledgement, and also it creates a copy and has a timer. And whenever the data frame is lost or corrupted, then it will resend the copy. So this is stop and wait ARQ. So now in today's class, we will be seeing the next protocol, Go Back and ARQ. So before that, we have to see something known as sliding protocol. So let's just revise stop and wait ARQ once again, because the reason we got this new protocol, Go Back and ARQ, or we have seen another protocol, is because stop and wait ARQ is inefficient. Now, why is it inefficient? We will see that first. So in the example that we have already seen yesterday, frame 0 is sent and it is arrived at the receiver side, and we receive the acknowledgement. And acknowledgement, as if you remember, it should be numbered with the next frame that the receiver needs or the receiver is expecting. So acknowledgement is 1. So that means the sender is supposed to send the frame 1 over here. Now then next we are seeing that frame 1 is lost, and that is the reason frame 1 needs to be resent. How does the sender know that the frame 1 is lost? Because it does not receive an acknowledgement for frame 1 even when the timer times out. So once the timer times out, the timer is restarted again and the frame 1 is resent. And again we receive the, once the frame 1 is resent and it arrives safely on the receiver side, the receiver sends the acknowledgement 0. That is, it is expecting the next frame 0. Okay, and I've also given an explanation of why we are numbering the frames in the modulo 2 arithmetic. Now after that, we will be seeing that frame 0 is sent, but the acknowledgement is lost in this case. So in the earlier case, the frame was lost, but here in this case, the acknowledgement is lost. Since the acknowledgement is lost, the sender thinks that the frame 0 did not reach the receiver, so it will resend it again. Once it is resent, the receiver thinks that okay, the sender did not receive the acknowledgement, so it will discard this duplicate frame, because see, it is receiving the frame twice over here. The receiver has received frame 0 already. It has sent the acknowledgement, but it did not reach. So the sender sends it again. So this frame is discarded. That is, it is this is a duplicate frame and the receiver does not need it. So it will be thrown out. And the receiver understands that the acknowledgement of this frame was not received by the sender. So it will send the acknowledgement once again. So this was the stop and wait ARQ. Now in the stop and wait ARQ, what are the drawbacks, or what is the performance of stop and wait ARQ? So the first and foremost thing is the stop and wait ARQ is very inefficient. Now why is it inefficient? The reason it is inefficient is, first and foremost, it can only send one frame at a time. Now when it is sending one frame at a time, suppose the channel or the transmission link can is able to send maybe even 5 to 10 frames, or let's consider 10 frames at a time, but in the protocol we can only send one frame, so the channel is being not utilized. So that can be said as, that is, the channel, the transmission link is known as a bandwidth. So poor utilization of bandwidth is another drawback. And thirdly, we have, so obviously, since it is inefficient, we can also say that it is giving us poor performance. The performance is not good. Okay, so these are the 3 drawbacks. Now, why are we saying it is inefficient? Suppose if your channel is thick and long. Thick means it can send multiple. It can send. Thick is basically when it has large bandwidth, and long is when the round trip, that is if you are sending a frame and getting the acknowledgement, it is taking a lot of time. So the round trip delay is long. Okay, so whenever our channel or the transmission link, so this is our transmission link description. The transmission link is thick and long. Thick means the transmission link has a large bandwidth, and long means the round trip delay. That is, once a frame is reached and the acknowledgement is received by the sender, that time is a bit large. Then the product of these two, that is the bandwidth and the round trip delay, is known as the bandwidth delay product. So this product is known as a bandwidth delay product. So why do we need this term? To calculate how much resource are we wasting, or how much the bandwidth is being utilized. So this channel or the transmission link, we can think of it as a pipe. Okay, so this band, let me just clear it. Yeah, so round trip here, suppose if we have a pipe of this much thickness and the length may be something, then in that case, suppose if the pipe is very thin, then obviously very less water, if we are considering water in this case, very less water will pass through. And if the distance is long, it will take time. But if the pipe is thick, then more amount of water. So in this case, just replace water and the pipe with the transmission link and the data. So if the transmission link can send huge amounts of data, then that is the bandwidth. Okay, that is the amount of data that can be transferred at a time. So if we are not utilizing this, suppose if we can send 10 frames at a time through this pipe or through this transmission link, and you're sending only one frame, that means you're not utilizing the transmission link. So this way, if the transmission link is not utilized, then this protocol is obviously inefficient. So if we are not using this entirely, then obviously the protocol is inefficient. Now the bandwidth delay product, what is it? It is the measure of bits we can send out of our system. So let's just see an example for the same to understand it properly. We have seen this pseudocode yesterday. Now we will be seeing the example. Suppose assume that in a stop and wait ARQ system, the bandwidth of a line is 1 Mbps and one bit takes 20 milliseconds to make a round trip. So the pipe that I was talking about, or the transmission link has the thickness of 1 Mbps, you can say, and one bit, if there is a bit traveling, then it to go from the sender and come back to the sender, it takes 20 milliseconds. So now you can understand what I'm trying to tell about the bandwidth delay product. So the bandwidth delay product over here is this 1 Mbps into 20 milliseconds. So because it is in megabytes per second or megabits per second, 1 into 10 power 6 into 20 into 10 power minus 3, because this is millisecond. So the bandwidth delay product is calculated in this way. This Mbps, we are supposed to convert it into bits per second. This is megabits, right? So we have to convert it into second, and this millisecond needs to be converted into second also. That is why we are using this 10 power 6 and 10 power minus 3. So what will be the product? It will be 20,000 bits. Now what is this 20,000 bits? 20,000 bits is basically the system can send 20,000 bits during the time it takes for the data to go from the sender to the receiver and then back again. That is, if the sender, this is the sender and the receiver, Then if a frame is being if a frame is traveling from the sender to the receiver and then it is giving the acknowledgement, then the number of bits that can travel is 20,000 bits. So now it has said that if the system data frames are 1000 bits in length, what is the utilization percentage of the link? Now, what does this mean? So, it is saying that here, when the sender and receiver are communicating, or when there is a communication between the sender and the receiver, the sender will send one data frame, right? And it will wait for the acknowledgement of that frame. So, that data frame size is 1000 bits. Although it can send 20,000 bits, the frame that the sender is sending is only 1000 bits. So what does that mean? The send, although it can basically, if suppose you are talking about uh, playing a game, or if you are playing a game, and in that case, if the game can be played by 6 players at a time and only 2 players are playing the game, then what is the utilization of the game that you are doing is 2 by 6, right? 1 by 3, that is 33% of the players are playing the game, right? So in this way, similarly, we can say that 1000 by 20,000. So this can be written as 1 by 20. So 1 by 20 is basically 5%, right? If you convert it into percentage, it is 5%. So only 5% of this transmission link is being utilized. Only 5% of the bandwidth is being utilized. So for this reason, whenever we have a high bandwidth and a long delay, then the use of stop and wait ARQ protocol is a waste, or we can say that it is inefficient basically. So the same thing has been written over here. So the system can send 20,000 bits during the time it takes for the data to go from the sender to the receiver and then back again. However, the system only sends 1000 bits. However, where did it mention? It is said that the data frames are of 1000 bits in length. So if the system is sending only 1000 bits, we can say that the link utilization is only 1000 by 20,000 or 5%. So for this reason, for a link with high bandwidth or a long delay, the long delay is basically how much time a bit is traveling to and fro. So that means whenever you are using stop and wait ARQ protocol in this case, then it is a waste of the resources. Okay. Now, in the next example, it is another example for the same. What is the utilization percentage of the link in the earlier example? If we have a protocol that can send up to 15 frames before stopping and worrying about the acknowledgement. So that is here, instead of a protocol which is sending only one frame, I have a different protocol which can send up to 15 frames. Now that is, after 15 frames, it will think about an acknowledgement, or it will wait for the acknowledgement after 15 frames. So in that case, each frame is equal to how many bits? It is equal to 1000 bits. So 15 into 1000, right? So it can send up to 15,000 bits per 15,000 bits in the channel. So the bandwidth delay, as we said in the, because we are considering the earlier example only. So in that case, the bandwidth delay is 20,000 bits, and the system can send up to 15 frames or 15,000 bits during a round trip, right? So this means the utilization is 15,000 by 20,000, as we did in the earlier example. Then we can see that this will be equal to 3 by 4, and in percentages it will be 75%. So that is 75% utilization is being done. But of course, if there are damaged frames or lost frames, the utilization percentage is much less. Okay, because frames needs to be resent, right? So that is why the utilization percentage will be very less. Now, what is the alternate for this stop and wait ARQ? So first and foremost, we will see the, after each frame sent, the host must wait for an acknowledgement. So in that case, as I said, it is the inefficient use of bandwidth. So to improve the efficiency, acknowledgement should be sent after multiple frames. That is, if we are sending, suppose as I said in the previous example, 15, 15 frames are being sent before the sender starts to worry about the acknowledgement. So together it is sending 15 frames, one after the other, and it is not waiting for an acknowledgement after each frame. That is, after 15 frames only it will think about an acknowledgement. So in that case, in those scenarios, the efficiency will be better, right? So the bandwidth will be utilized in a much better way. So that is, so to have those kind of protocols, first we have to know about something known as a sliding window protocol. Now you might think that we did not study the sliding window protocol. We directly have a stop and wait ARQ, go back and ARQ, and selective repeat ARQ. Basically, go back and ARQ and selective repeat ARQ are based on this sliding window protocol. They are based on the mechanism of this sliding window protocol. So first we will see the sliding window protocol, and then we can continue with our protocols, which is go back and ARQ and selective repeat ARQ. And one more thing before we study about the sliding window is pipelining. Now, what do you mean by pipelining? This is a term that you have already studied in computer architecture, I believe, is that a task starts already before the previous task is ended. So that is, in the case of this data communication, we can send frame even before we receive an acknowledgement for the next frame. So there is no pipelining in stop and wait ARQ. We don't have pipelining in the protocol that we have just studied, that is stop and wait ARQ, because we need to wait for a frame to reach the destination and be acknowledged before the next frame can be sent. So pipelining improves the efficiency of the transmission, right? So if you don't need to wait, then it will obviously improve the efficiency of the transmission. However, pipelining is used in our next two protocols. So we did not use in stop and wait ARQ, but we will be using pipelining in both go back and ARQ and uh, selective repeat ARQ. And pipelining, why does it improve the efficiency? If the number of bits in transition, or if the number of bits which are traveling is large with respect to the bandwidth delay product. So suppose if the bandwidth delay product is 20,000 bits and we are sending up to 18 to 19,000 bits, then obviously the number of bits traveling is large, or in comparison to the bandwidth delay product. So this will obviously improve the efficiency. So now we will be seeing the next thing, which is the sliding window protocol. Now, why are we seeing this? To improve the efficiency of the transmission, multiple frames must be moving while waiting for the acknowledgement. In other words, we need to let more than one frame be outstanding to keep the channel busy. That is, we are not wasting the channel, the pipeline that we are talking about. We are not wasting it. We are utilizing it to the maximum. So if suppose one frame is sent, while waiting for the acknowledgement, it can send frame 2, 3, 4 until the acknowledgement is received for the first frame. So that can be done by these two protocols. So in these two protocols, we can send several frames before receiving acknowledgement, and we keep a copy of all these frames that we are talking about. So if we are sending frame 1, 2, 3 all together, then we will keep a copy of all the 3 frames, so that if the frame is lost or corrupted, we can send it again. Also, now we will first see the sliding window protocol, then we will continue with our go back and. So sliding window protocols applies pipelining, and it is used in this go back NARQ and selective repeat ARQ. What is it does basically is it can send multiple frames at a time, and the number of frames that we can send is based on the something known as the window size. Now, what is this window size? We have to know about that. Okay, so sliding window protocols improves the efficiency, and multiple frames should be in transition while waiting for the acknowledgement, and it can have more than one frame to be outstanding. What is an outstanding frame? Outstanding frame is basically frames that are sent but not acknowledged, and we can send up to some W number of frames and keep a copy of these frames until the acknowledgement arrives. So this procedure of sending the multiple frames at a time requires this concept of sliding window. What it does is it defines the range of sequence numbers, and in other words, the sender and receiver needs to deal with only some part of the sequence number. The range which is the concern of the sender is called the send sliding window, and the range which is the concern of the receiver is called the receiver sliding window. Now we will see the sliding window protocol by an example. So here in this example, I have taken the window size is 4 and we have these 9 frames. So 0 to 8, we have 9 frames and we have the sender and receiver over here. Now I am saying that there is that is basically this window size defines that we can send up to 4 frames before waiting for an acknowledgement. So over here, first and foremost, I will begin with the frame 0. So first frame 0 needs to be sent. So here the frame 0 is sent to the receiver. Okay. Then next, now for the frame 0, the sender is not expecting an acknowledgement. What it will do is basically it will send the next frame 1, 2, 3 and 4 also. Why can it send the frame 1, 2, 3 and 4? Sorry, it will send the frame 1, 2 and 3. That is in total it can send 4 frames before waiting for an acknowledgement. So while it is waiting, it will send frame number 1, 2 and 3, and in this way it can send 4 frames at a time before the acknowledgement. Now the processor, suppose the receiver, suppose it takes this time 3, it now sends an acknowledgement for the frame 0. So for the frame 0, when it is sending an acknowledgement, now the sender will wait after sending these 3 frames. Once it receives here, now the receiver, the receiver will send an acknowledgement for the frame 0. So this acknowledgement is for the frame 0. Let me mention it over here. This is for frame 0. Now after that, this 0, I'll stop. Why are we calling it sliding window? Let me explain that. So first we have the frame 0 sent. Then we are extending this window to send the frame 1, right? Then after that, we are extending it to send the frame 2. So here I am sending 0, 1, 2. So as you see, it keeps on moving to the adjacent frame. So this will keep on increasing. So the next will be, we will be sending the frame 3 as we have seen. So it will move on to the frame 3. Now once it has moved, once it has got the acknowledgement for the frame 0, this sliding window will move from 0 and move on to 4. So this from here, it will move on to 1, 2, 3, 4. So this way, if you notice, it first started from 0, then it covered 0, 1, then 0, 1, 2, then 0, 1, 2, 3. Once it has reached at 0, 1, 2, 3, it will have to wait for the acknowledgement of the frame 0. Okay. So once it gets the acknowledgement for frame 0, it can move on to the frame number 4. Once it has moved to frame 4, first it will send the frame 4. So let me just draw it over here. Here the sender will send the frame 4. Yeah, so this is the frame 4, and then the receiver will send the acknowledgement for frame 1. Okay, so this is the way the sliding window protocol will work. I hope you have understood. So let's move on to, so sliding window protocol. What are the sequence numbers now we are using? So the sent frames are numbered sequentially, and the sequence number is stored in the header of the frame. As we have seen in the earlier protocol also, the sequence number is stored in the header. Now if the header of the frame allows m bits for the sequence number, the sequence numbers will range from 0 to 2 power m minus 1. So suppose it allows for 4 bits, then we can have 0 to 2 power 4 minus 1, that is 0 to 16. Okay, sorry, 0 to 15. 2 power 4 is 16 minus 1. The sequence numbers are modulo 2 power m, where m is the size of the sequence number field in bits. If m is 3, then the sequence number range from 0 to 2 power 3 minus 1, which will be 8 minus 1, 7. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then again it will start from 0, 1. Now the sliding window is used to hold the acknowledged, unacknowledged, outstanding frames which are sent. So this term, what does it mean? The frames which are sent but did not receive an acknowledgement. So in the example that I have given, if you remember, the window that I was drawing, so if I have received the acknowledgement for 0, the 0 will be removed from the window and we will have 1, 2, 3, 4 if the window size is 4. So this way, the sliding window protocol will work. Basically, whenever we are talking, the window at any time divides the possible sequence numbers into regions, and the first region, that is, it defines the sequence numbers belonging to frames that are already acknowledged, and the sender does not worry about these frames and keeps no copies of them. The second region defines the range of sequence number belonging to the frames that are sent and they have not received an acknowledgement. The sender needs to wait to find out if these frames have been received or lost, which are called as outstanding frames. Okay, so this we will see in the next slide. So let's continue with the protocol. So now we are coming to the go back n protocol. So in the go back n protocol, the sequence numbers are modulo 2 power m, where m is the size of the sequence number field in bits. Now over here, for the frames, that is the frames that we have, as I said, the window is divided into two parts. So the window is basically actually divided into 4 regions. So first region from here, so the first region from the far left to the left wall of the window defines the sequence number belonging to the frames that are already acknowledged. So these frames are already acknowledged. Okay, and this is the window that we have in orange color, that is frames sent but not acknowledged. So these frames from 0 to 6 have been already sent to the receiver but not acknowledged, and the next is the frames which are needed to be sent, and afterwards finally we have the frames which cannot be sent, that is that it cannot be used until the window slides. So window basically is not a real window, it is just a imaginary thing to understand this protocol, and we call these variables by different letters or alphabets. So basically the variable defining the size and location at any time. So we have first SF. What is SF? It is the send window and the first outstanding frame. So in the window, the first frame which needs to be acknowledged is the SF. Okay, and there is another variable which is SN, and this keeps a track of which frame to be sent. So 0 to 6 frames have been sent but not acknowledged, right? So this SN keeps a track of the frame which needs to be sent later. Okay, after the acknowledgement for 0 is received, it will send the frame 7. And then finally, we have the variable S size. What is the S size? The S size is the size of the window which is fixed in our protocol. Okay, so now in this next figure that we are seeing, it shows how a send window can slide one or more slots to the right. When an acknowledgement arrives from the other end, suppose the acknowledgement for the frames 0, 1, 2 has arrived, then it will move to 3, 4, 5, 6. That is, it needs to wait for the acknowledgement of 3, 4, 5, 6. So SF becomes 3 and SN is the window frame that needs to be sent, which is 7. So the send window can slide one or more slots when an acknowledgement is received, right? So let's move further. So the send window is an abstract concept defining an imaginary box of size 2 power m minus 1, okay, with 3 variables SF, SN and the size. Now the The send window can slide one or more slots when a valid acknowledgement arrives. Now, what will happen in the receive window? So, receive window makes sure that the correct data frames are received and the correct acknowledgement is sent. The size of the receive window is always 1. Now, why is it 1? Because it can receive only one frame at a time, right? So once it receives the frame, it will process the frame and give it to the network layer, and it will also accept the other frames. The receiver is always looking for the arrival of a specific frame. So suppose if you are sending frame 0, then the sender cannot send frame 4. Or if suppose if frame 2 is lost and the receiver receives frame 3, then what will happen is basically it will discard the frame 3 also, and whatever next frame is arriving out of order, it will discard those frames. So basically in the go back N protocol, whenever the frames are being received out of order, it will discard all the frames coming after that also. So any frame arriving out of order is discarded and needs to be resent. Now this figure, in this figure, if you notice, there is this variable Rn. There is a single variable Rn, which is receive window, which next frame to be expected, and frames which are already received and acknowledged are on this side, and frames that cannot be received until the window slides. So once it receives frame 3, then it will slide to frame 4 and it will go on in the same way. Okay. So the receive window is an abstract concept defining an imaginary box of size 1 with one single variable Rn. The window slides when a correct frame has arrived. Sliding occurs one slot at a time. So now what about timers? So there is a timer for each frame. So in our protocol, basically we use only one timer. So that is for the first. Suppose as I gave in the example, I am sending 0, 1, 2, 3. So there is a timer only for this 0. When the timer expires for this first frame, we will send all the frames together again. We send all the outstanding frames when this expires. So suppose if the timer for 0, there is only one timer first and foremost, and if that timer expires, we will send all the that is the number of frames that of window size. Suppose the window size is 4, we will send 4 frames again. That is the copy of all these 4 frames need to be maintained, and all the 4 frames will be sent again. Why? Because if we are sending, suppose if there is a timer for each and every frame, and then if we are sending first 1, 2, 3, and then we know then the sender gets to know that 0 is lost. If it sends 0 over here, then the frames will be out of order, right? So the frames should not be out of order. For that reason, we will be sending all the frames together. So that is with respect to the timer. Now what about the acknowledgement? The receiver sends a positive acknowledgement if a frame has arrived, and if a frame is damaged or received out of order, the receiver will be silent, the same way as in stop and wait ARQ protocol. Now if the sender does not receive the acknowledgement, obviously then it will send all the frames again, beginning with the one from the expired timer, right? So the receiver does not have to acknowledge each frame received. It can send one acknowledgement for multiple frames also. Now, when the timer expires, the sender sends all the frames together, right? Now we will see the diagram design of this go back N ARQ. So first we have to see on the sender side. So on the sender side, we can see that on the transmission link, multiple frames are going or are being transmitted in the forward direction, and multiple acknowledgements are also being received in the reverse direction. So basically, the difference between the stop and wait ARQ and go back and ARQ is, in stop and wait ARQ, we can send only one frame, or we can send basically the send windows allow us to have as many frames in transition as there are slots in the send window. Now, first and foremost, if you see, the diagram is actually similar. The only difference is here, instead of having only one frame to be sent. We have multiple frames in a window and we are sending all the frames together, and the receiver will always keep a track of the next frame to be received. Okay, so first and here the notifications and the event are basically similar to whatever we have in the stop and wait ARQ. Now this diagram, so here for the frames we can now show why the size of the send window must be less than 2 power m. So as an example, we choose m is equal to 2. Now when m is equal to 2, it means 2 power m minus 1, we can have frames from 0, 1, 2, 3, right? So here we are comparing a window size of 3 against this window size of 4. Okay, so window size here is 3, means it can send frame 0, frame 1, frame 2. And once it is sent frame 0, 1 and 2, and all the 3 acknowledgements are lost, the frame 0 timer expires, so there is a timeout, and again the frame 0 is sent again. Now once it is sent again, it will be discarded. Why will it be discarded? Because the receiver was expecting frame 3. So as you see over here, frame 0 is sent, it arrives at the receiver and the Rn variable moves to 1. Then frame 1 is received and it moves to 2. And once frame 2 is received, it moves to 3. But here, this pink arrow is the acknowledgement which is lost. So in this case, all the 3 acknowledgements are lost. So again, the sender will set frame 0. That frame 0 is discarded. Now, if you notice over here, so if we are sending the window size, instead of 3, it is 4. Now, what will happen in that case? So frame 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay. 3 is also received by the receiver. So once it receives 3, it will, here the frame 0 is sent again. This first frame is sent again. But the receiver thinks that it is the next frame, so it accepts it. So that is why we consider the window size as only m, 2 power m if we are receiving. So just, yeah. In go back and ARQ, the size of the send window must be less than 2 power m. Okay, so if we are talking about 2 power 3, then the size of the send window must be 3, 2, 1. It cannot be 4 as we have seen in the earlier figure. So in this way, the go back and ARQ works. Now you can check the pseudocode for the go back and ARQ in the same way. We have 3 variables. The get data, make frame, store frame will be in the same way. SN will move to the next frame value, and there is a timer, and that timer will stop when an acknowledgement is received. If it does not receive the acknowledgement, again it will send the frames again. It will delete the next frames and it will send the frames again. So this way, go back and receiver algorithm and the go back and sender algorithms are given. You can see and check the same for the because they are similar to stop and wait ARQ protocol. So you can refer back to stop and wait ARQ protocol and understand the algorithms for the same. So with this, I'll conclude the lecture for today.